Hi everybody, good morning to all. And what about you? We almost completed our second chapter of politics, that is federalism. And I gave some notes, some of you submitted, and some of you needed to submit. Then I will catch you next day. So all should submit that as early as possible. Okay, we needed to take today our next chapter from politics, that is democracy and diversity. Democracy and diversity. You heard much about democracy. What is democracy? What is the basic principle of definition of democracy? Or what is the famous definition of democracy? Democracy of the people, by the people and for the people. All of you heard about that. So, from this chapter, we again continue the tour with the democracy. Are you ready for that tour? With this tour, we can study something more about democracy. With this chapter, with this tour of democracy, we studied about diversity with the democracy. What is diversity? Diversity means differences. What about the differences with the democracy? We will study from this chapter. Just look at your overview. In the last chapter, we saw how power can be distributed to accommodate linguistic and regional diversities. But language and region are not the only feature that give a distinct identity to people. Sometimes, people also identify themselves and relate with others on the basis of their physical appearance, class, religion, gender, caste, tribe, etc. In this chapter, we study how democracy responds to social differences, divisions and inequalities. We begin with an example of public expression of social division. We then draw some general lessons about how social differences can take various forms. We then turn to how democratic politics affects and is affected by these social diversities. What is saying in overview? In the last chapter, we saw how power can be distributed to accommodate linguistic and regional diversities. Language based, regional based, we have many diversities. How these diversities, linguistic and regional diversities, accommodate, how we saw that for accommodate these language and regional diversities, the power shared among these regional and language diversities that we saw from last chapter. But language and region are not the only feature that give a distinct identity to the people. But for people in language based or linguistic or regional based, not only that differences among the people, more other differences too. Sometimes people also identify themselves and relate with others on the basis of their physical appearance. The people have not only the features or not only the differences in language or region, but also they have another identities too, another differences too, such as physical appearance. When we see some other regions people, we can understand it is not Kerala people. Have you? So we can say that they have diverse physical appearance. They have diverse classes. They have different religion, and also they have different. Not all people in a single gender. They have two gender, male, female, and also they have different caste. They have different tribe, etc. In this chapter, so last chapter we discussed only language, regional diversities. But people, among the people, we have different diversities such as physical appearance, class, religion, gender, caste, tribe, etc. With these all diversities, how can accommodate all these diversities? In this chapter, we study how democracy responds to social differences, divisions and inequalities. From this chapter, we will study about how democracy give proper chance or how democracy respond to these social differences, social divisions and social inequalities. How democracy respond to these differences, inequalities, divisions and differences. We begin with an example of public expression of social division. We started this chapter with an example of which is public expression of social division. we will study an example from the starting of this chapter, public expression of some difference. We then draw some general lessons about how social differences can take various forms. We then study about from this chapter some social differences, and we then turn to how democratic politics is affected by social diversities. That we can study detail from this chapter. Okay, you can take your 30th page. There's one title, that is Story from Mexico Olympics. A story from Mexico Olympics. From overview we started with an example, social differences, social divisions. So social expression of social divisions. This is an example about that. Listen to them. Can you see one picture? The first a small picture. The picture on this page depicts an important landmark in the history of civil rights movement in the United States. These represent the medal ceremony of the 200-meter race in the 1968 of Olympics held at Mexico City. The two men standing with clenched fist, upraised and head bowed, while the American national anthem was played, are the US athletes Tommy Smith and John Carlos. They are African American. They had won the gold and bronze medal respectively. They received their medals wearing black socks and no shoes to represent black poverty. With this gesture, they tried to draw international attention to racial discrimination in the United States. The black glove and raised clenched fist were meant to symbolize black power. The silver medalist, white Australian athlete Peter Norman, wore a human rights badge on his shirt during the ceremony to show his support to the two Americans. This is an example of public expression of social divisions. Here had one division. United States, in America, existing two types of people. Which are the people? Recently you heard about one which issue. One white police killed black men. Did you hear about that? Yes, in America existing two types of people, white Americans and black Americans. Okay, black Americans actually which are descendants of Africans from African continent. Earlier times from African continents many people which migrated to America for many purposes. Then after some years they settled there as Americans. But even though they became the Americans, they saw us inferiors with the African Americans. Have you understand? Black people, the white people saw us inferior people with the African Americans. Black people, they had a difference, they had a social division in America, that is white people and black people. At the time, two black men from America showed their anger about against this social division to world. That is one example. That is an example. Listen to them. The picture on this page depicts an important landmark in the history of civil rights movement in the United States. Civil rights movement in the United States means against this color-based division. Against this color-based division, they created movement in America, in the United States. That is known as civil rights movement in the United States. The civil rights movement in the United States against the color divisions in America, creating them or continuing them. But now that social division ended. Okay, now there is no any divisions with the black Americans and white Americans legally. Okay, but this time, this Olympic medal ceremony time, they had now legally avoided the color division there. For avoid that color division, they show their anger to world. That is saying here. The picture on this page depicts an important landmark in the history of civil rights movement in the United States. These picture represent the medal ceremony of 200-meter race in 1968. In 1968, there had no legal protection against social division based on color in America. It is held at a 1968 medal ceremony of 200-meter race. Two men standing with a clenched fist. Clenched fist means like hold like it and upraise, hold like it and upraise, hold it, and head bowed. They stand like it, clenched fist, raised and head bowed. While the American national anthem was played. When the medal ceremony, the American national anthem was played there. But when anyone hearing the national anthem, they needed to stand like it. But they stood how clenched fist, raised and head bowed. Who are they? Are US athletes. They are from America. Tommy Smith and John Carlos. But they were African Americans. African Americans means their forefathers came from Africa for many purposes. Okay, they had won the gold and the bronze medal respectively. John Carlos and Tommy Smith got gold medal and John Carlos got bronze medal for 200-meter race. They received their medals. They received their medals. How blacks wearing black socks and no shoes to show represent black poverty. On that occasion, in America, the black people faced poverty. Okay, so they needed to give attention, international attention on their issue. They needed to get an international attention or world attention into their issue. That's why they responded like that in the 1968 Olympics medal ceremony. When the national anthem was played, American national anthem was played, they stood like how clenched fist raised and head bowed. When they wearing the medals, how they expressed it, they wearing black socks with no shoes. Why did they show that? They show to people their black poverty. They faced poverty in their country. With this gesture, they tried to, with this gesture, with their expression, black socks with no shoes, with this gesture, with this standing, they tried to draw international attention to racial discrimination in the United States. In United States existed racial discrimination. Racial discrimination means discriminated with in accordance of race. Race in the basis discriminate here. That is racial discrimination. That existed in their United States. With this gesture, they express, they try to understand, they try to draw, they try to note the international attention on their issue. They needed to show their problem to world. That is did the black glove. They wear the black glove and raise clenched fist. In their hand, you can see in the picture, they had black gloves, black gloved and raised clenched fist. Clenched fist means mushti churita and raised. But not only that, they wore black glove. So it means that black gloves and clenched fist raised, that symbolize black power. Black power means against the white Americans. They introduced a movement, that is black power. Okay, not only that two people, in the picture you can see a white man too. Who was that? The silver medalist. 200-meter race, who got the Tommy Smith got gold and John Carlos got bronze. But one more person, he got silver medal. Who was that? An Australian athlete. He was an Australian. His name Peter Norman. He won human rights badge. Human rights badge he won on his shirt during the ceremony. During the ceremony, he won human rights badge on his shirt to show his support to Americans. He wanted to show his support to Americans to world. For that, he won human rights badge on his shirt. Yeah, such expressions is not allowing in the medal ceremony or Olympics, but they did that. They needed to show their problem to internationally or to the world. Do you think, listen to your next paragraph, do you think that Carlos and Smith should have raised an international matter of American society in an international forum? Would you say that what they did was political? Why do you think Peter Norman, who was neither black or American, joined in gesture of protest? If you were in Norman's place, what would you do? Some of questions in that paragraph. What is, did you think that Carlos and Smith should have raised an international matter of American society in an international forum? It is an international forum, medal ceremony, international, which forum means international function. In this international function, Peter Norman and John Carlos, they needed to show this. Would you say that why they did us political? What they did for us politically, for got there, which avoid their differences. Why do you think Peter Norman, he nor American nor black, he needed to join this gesture? What did you do, or what will you do? Would you do when the Norman plays at this occasion? Okay, the next paragraph. In the International Olympic Association held Carlos and Smith guilty of violating the Olympic spirit by making a political statement. Their medals were taken back. Back home, they were subjected to a lot of criticism. Norman too suffered for his action and was not included in the Australian team for the next Olympic. But their action succeeded in gaining international attention for the civil rights movement in the US. Recently, the San Jose State University, of which they were former students, honored them and installed their statue in the university campus. When Norman died in 2006, Smith and Carlos were pallbearers of his funeral. What is saying? They did like it. In the 1968 Olympics, Thomas Smith and John Carlos were the 2-meter race rank holders, medal holders, gold and bronze respectively. And one Australian athlete too, Peter Norman, he got a silver medal. But they show their angry against their racial discrimination in America. They wear black glove, they clenched fist and raised and headboard when the American national anthem was played. That, and also when this medal ceremony, where they, which are receiving medals as black socks, they wore black socks with no shoes. That they represent black poverty. And clenched fist raised and headboard. Clenched fist raised, that they show black power. And after that event, Peter Norman, Australian athlete, nor white nor American, he wore human rights badge on his shirt to support these two Americans. After that, what did happen there? The International Olympic Association, the International Olympic Committee held Carlos and Smith guilty of violating the Olympics in the guilty. അതിൻ്റെ നിയമങ്ങളെ വയലേറ്റ് ചെയ്തു എന്നുള്ളത് ഹെൽഡ് ചെയ്തു, മുദ്രകുത്തി. സോ ദിസ് spirit by making political statement. Olympic spirit, in the Olympic spirit, they made two political statement. John Carlos and Tommy Smith guilt the violating the Olympic spirit. How? By making political statement. They created a political situation there. That's why their medals taken back. Didn't give their medals taken back. Then back home, did you see when an when Olympics anybody got medals, they are getting which much of welcome party and much of treat to them into their own regions. But this Tommy Smith and John Carlos go back to their home, they subjected to a lot of criticism. They heard lot of criticism. Norman too suffered for his action. He not American, not white. He is another country, Australia. Norman too suffered a lot of criticism for his action. And he was not included in the Australian team for the next Olympics. Even though he got silver medals for 200-meter race in the next Olympic team, that for Norman didn't participate or they didn't include the Australian team for the next Olympic. But their action succeeded in gaining. They suffered a lot of, they heard a lot of criticism, even though what was their objective that they got. Their objective was their problem got the international attention that they got. But their action succeeded in gaining international attention for the civil rights movement in the US. Civil rights movement, people among the world understood about the racial segregation, racial discrimination that is doing in the United States. So, international gaining, international support or international attention got for civil rights movement in the US. Civil rights movement, you know, civil rights movement means legally avoid the social divisions in the United States. For that, did one movement, that is civil rights movement. For civil rights movement got national attention because of the gesture did by the Tommy Smith and John Carlos. Okay. Then recently the San Jose, we can read that, but we can pronounce that is San Jose University, State University, that is in America. Recently, State University, San Jose State University, which were former students. Tommy Smith and John Carlos were the students of which is San Jose State University. This university honored them and installed their statue in the university campus. Have you seen the picture here? In your first page, 30th page, second picture, first position and third position. Who are the Tommy Smith and John Carlos? This is the statue of their San Jose State University. Okay. And when Norman died in 2006, Smith and John Carlos were pallbearers at his funeral. Pallbearers means അയാളുടെ ശവം ചുമന്നുകൊണ്ട് പോവുക. That is pallbearers at his funeral. Okay, it is about our social expression of, public expression of one social division. It is one division. What is one division? In America, black people and white people. That is one social division based on color. This issue publicly expressed by the Tommy Smith and John Carlos. When the overview we start with an example of public expression of social division. It is the public expression of social division. The next we need to study differences, similarities and divisions that we can study in the next class. So you should read this well, and we needed to take our next topic from the next class, that is differences, similarities and divisions. Before that, those who want to complete your notebook, you should complete that and submit to me as early as possible. So we needed to wind up now. We can see in the next class with our next topic. After that, all of you, thank you.